Welcome to the Activated Storyteller's 75th podcast, March 13th, 2008.
This week's story is Why the Bat is an Outcast from Nigeria.
Hi, I'm Dennis.
And I'm Kimberly.
And I'm Zephyr.
And together we are
the Activated Storytellers.
We are recording this week in Roswell, New Mexico. Roswell is, of course, famous for the supposed alien crash.
Now, actually, the irony here is that the crash actually didn't happen that close to Roswell. In fact, I believe it happened closer to another town, didn't it?
It happened close to Corona, but Roswell was the site of an Air Force base, and they felt they should bring whatever they found into here for military inspection, which may have been a big mistake.
They have a museum here dedicated to UFOs, sightings, and they also have the street lamps are alien heads. Kind of a fun, unique place to be.
The UFO Museum in Roswell was co-founded by Glenn Dennis, who was a 22-year-old mortician at the time of the Roswell incident. And he claimed, and still claims to this day, that they brought in some actual remains of alien bodies.
Speaking of Roswell, guess what's coming out that has something to do with Roswell?
A movie?
Yes, there is a movie actually coming out that has something to do with Roswell. Guess which movie?
I don't know. Don't make me work.
It's the last thing in the world you'd guess, but Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, the new Indiana Jones film, if you actually look at the preview, you can see there's a moment where you see a map and it has Roswell, New Mexico on it. And there have been rumors that it was going to go into some sci-fi stuff, so this should be pretty interesting. It's something I'm thinking about as we're here in Roswell.
Interesting. Well, this week since our last podcast, we have done a bit of traveling. We've gone from Arkansas through Texas and on into New Mexico.
We stopped in Abilene, Texas, and we discovered a place that we didn't even know was there. National Center for Children's Illustrated Literature, which is a mouthful. That's why they call it by its abbreviation, NICL.
And while we were there, we had a chance to interview the executive director. We'll be playing a clip from that for you in just a moment. The center highlights artwork that is done by illustrators that you'll find in popular children's books. Right now, they have an exhibit by Gerald McDermott. And they bring the students in from the local schools, tell them about the artwork, and encourage them to do art activities that tie in with the art that they're illustrating at the time.
I was really impressed by looking at this exhibit of Gerald McDermott's work because he uses so many different styles of art for his different books. And it seemed that in each book a certain color would predominate, but he did a Native American style for one Native American story. He did an Egyptian style for another story. Really quite a versatile artist.
What was interesting, too, is that he has a couple of stories that he has illustrated that we'll be doing in our next show. We have the story of the Coyote and the Eagle.
An Anansi story.
So here's some of the audio that we recorded. We recorded this audio on our Sansa Clips, which we like to call Umpthuras.
Because it plays MP3s.
So anyway, the audio quality is going to be a little bit different than what we are recording with when we are in our RV studio.
The NICL here in Abilene, Texas, and we have the executive director with us, and your name is?
Sarah Mulkey.
Tell us a little bit about the center and what it is that you do here.
Right. The NICL is a one-of-a-kind children's art museum. Our focus is on the illustrations from very famous, prominent children's literature. And so we focus more on the pictures than we do necessarily on the words. We sometimes forget that the pictures we see in children's books were originally paintings. And so this is one of the things that we're trying to revere and honor is this particular type of original artwork. So we've had everyone from William Joyce and Peter Sees, Robert Sabuda with his pop-up books, Gerald McDermott currently, we had Little Golden Books, so it's very prominent illustrators with very beautiful original works of art.
Right. And so you've got some programs where they can come in and do some art activities themselves?
We do. We have art activities throughout the week. When the school children come in, we typically have an activity that is geared to their age and to the particular exhibition. One of our goals is to tie the exhibit to art element so that children leave not only seeing the art and understanding or knowing the story, but they have left with a better understanding of art elements, art principles. We do collaboration with Cook Children's Hospital, which are children who are dealing with diseases, and we are going to be collaborating with them at our next exhibition with David Macaulay's The Way We Work, which is a book full of his drawings of the human body. Anatomical drawings, but very whimsical, clever ways of interpreting the systems of the body. So we will bring these children from Cook's Hospital in, and we're going to ask them to do a little art gallery where they're going to create some images, and we'll celebrate their artistic abilities here at the Nickel.
So you're putting the exhibits together here, and they stay here for about 3 months, and then they're available to tour.
That's right. And we market to venues all over the nation.
How long would it stay on tour? Does it just indefinitely, as long as people are requesting it?
Typically 2 years, but we are beginning to extend some of those. In fact, I will jump the gun and just tell you we got a call today from a gentleman in Wales who is wanting the Sabuda exhibit.
Oh, has it gone international before?
It has not, but we have had...
Exciting.
2 weeks ago we had a request from Italy.
Wonderful.
And we've had a request from Tokyo, and we have connections in all 3 of those places. So we are now doing our investigation to see what it would take to go internationally.
Translate materials.
Well, I hadn't even thought about that. I was just thinking about us being able to get the exhibits.
Luckily, the art is pretty transferable because, this is picking up a book. I'm like, Pecos Bill, I'll read that while I'm waiting.
Yeah.
And wait a minute, it's in Spanish.
Oh,
The pictures are the same.
Well, but see, that is a lovely thought. Because the pictures translate wherever, and the verbiage would have to be, adjusted in some ways. But it is universal. I mean, the pictures, we as children, we read our first book when we looked at the pictures and figured out what was going on. Yeah, but international venue travel looks like our next big thing.
Good.
So.
Great. Okay, and we appreciate her taking the time to talk to us.
We're really intrigued by the fact that these exhibits that they put together do tour nationally, so we may have a chance to run into one of the exhibits as we're traveling. We may find it at a museum or a library or another community. We're going to keep an eye out for these exhibits that come from the National Center for Children's Illustrated Literature.
You know what else I loved about this place?
What?
They had a desk in there that was I just loved. It looked like it was made out of books.
And you can find out more about the National Center for Children's Illustrated Literature, the Nickel, at www.nccil.org. We'll have a link to that on our site.
And moving on to New Mexico, we made an interesting stop yesterday. It's a place we've been a couple times before, but we're always happy to go back to.
Actually, it's been about 7 years since we were there.
Yeah, it has. It's been a while. I was 10 the last time we were there. It was Carlsbad Caverns.
And they say caverns because there is more than one cavern or cave, and we took a couple of tours. Well, actually, one of them is a self-guided tour of the big room, the main cavern. And then in the afternoon, we did a guided tour, a 3-hour tour of the lower room, which most people will never see.
Right. We got to put on helmets that had lights on it. We had to bring our own batteries.
And you knew you were in for a real adventure when you started out and you entered the cave by descending down a rope.
Yeah, a rope and 3 ladders, and you get down there, and there's some tight spaces. I think my favorite part was probably the big open area where there's a part on the larger tour up above where you can just sort of see these areas where they just drop off down below, and there's a lot of room up above you, and on the lower cave tour, you get to go into some of those areas.
And one of the benefits of taking the lower cave tour is you get to see a piece of graffiti that was apparently left by Jim White in November of 1906 when he was exploring the lower cave.
Right. The ranger also discussed the difference between historical graffiti and artifacts, things that need to be protected for history's sake. And, of course, nowadays it is a criminal offense to do any graffiti on any national park.
But if you did it 100, 150 years ago, then it's considered part of the park.
And they protect it. While we were down there, we had a total lights out experience for about, I would say, 5-10 minutes. We all turned our helmet lights out, and could see absolutely nothing. And here's a little audio that we recorded while we were in total darkness.
Everyone ready?
Yep.
All right. Complete and total darkness. So, will your eyes ever adjust to this?
Nope.
No.
That's what I say too. But I still get people who argue with me. You're not going to be able to see anything. Not your hand in front of your face, nothing. People who swear up and down they can see their hand moving in front of their face. But what's going on there is if you think you can see your hand in front of your face, what's happening is your brain knows that it has commanded your hand to be there. And when your eyes can't see it, it kind of freaks out and starts to generate its own image, to see it. But your eyes will never adjust to this. This is complete and total darkness. And this is a good time that if you are a shy person and you have something to say, this is a good time to say it because nobody has a clue who's talking.
Well, you guys can help me because we're looking at how to interpret this for blind people. How do you interpret Carlsbad Caverns?
I was wondering the same thing.
Wow.
Especially when they can't touch,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Wow, that is, I really don't know. But
Think about that when we're going through this. Then.
But now, however, I have actually encountered blind people in caves and show caves, and they say they can definitely tell, from their other senses. Of course, they can't touch, but sound, smell, everything. Any embarrassing stories anybody want to tell? How to interpret this for a blind person? It would be quite hard. You would have to bring that person here and let them use their other senses.
You'd almost have to make models, too, of the different
Right.
things
Yeah.
you could
Yeah.
do out of clay or whatnot and make statues. And we're doing something with the podcast, trying to audio tour without people not being here.
We're working on, of course, we're going to have new exhibits in our visitor center when it's done. Well, hold on. Several years after the visitor center's done, we're going to have new exhibits. Right now, we're working on temporary. But on the new ones, I'm hoping that we are getting a lot of stuff. Crawlways that you can do in the visitor center that is made. Anybody's been to Karshner's Caverns, you've seen their visitor center. They have some very nice stuff made, and maybe we'd be able to.
Oh yeah, they do.
Yeah. And I'm thinking of something like that.
Get tactile exhibits so you can see what,
Right.
so a blind person can see what popcorn looks like.
Right.
Feeling it, and for kids as well. So that way, keep it up in the visitor center and don't touch anything down here.
Well, we do have. Probably shouldn't talk about this, but we do have something called the touching tour that has broken formations that we allow people to touch. I personally am opposed to that, but the park is not. Because we make such a big deal out about touching and stuff like that, and then we sit there and say, hey, look what we broke, and I think we should send a more consistent message. But the argument that a blind person to be able to touch that, I can see that.
That's all I would see doing it.
100%. Yeah. So nobody has any embarrassing stories, huh?
Well, last night my wife was doing something.
Excuse me?
I may or may not have killed somebody while the lights were out.
But you sensed it.
Somebody's doing it.
Right. One of the most impressive things to me on this tour was seeing a bat that had been encased in a stalagmite. This bat died in the cave, and the air inside a cave is ideal for preserving the body of a dead animal, so it didn't decay. And over a period of time, this stalagmite formed around it, and the ranger shined his flashlight through the stalagmite. It wasn't very big, so the light would pass through it, and you could see the silhouette of the bat on the inside.
Right, and if you're there during the summer at Carlsbad Caverns, you can actually watch, they have a ranger program in the evening, and you watch the bats leave the cave. We did that back in 2001 during the summertime. The bats have migrated to Mexico right now. They're not around, but incredible experience to watch the flight of the bats as they leave. We're going to be telling a story about bats in a little bit here.
As a matter of fact, something that we like to do every time we go to Carlsbad Caverns is we adopt a bat. They have a form you can fill out. You pay, I think, $5? Mm-hmm. And you go fill out the form, and you get to name the bat, and you get a picture of the bat, and our bat is named Bartholomew J. Fruitcake the 63rd.
And speaking of bats, we'd like to tell you a story This week, we chose Why the Bat is an Outcast from Nigeria.
Long ago in the forest, there was a war between the birds and the animals.
Right. Tweet. No, 4 paws are better than 2 wings, I tell you.
With 2 wings, I can fly all around. Let's see you do this.
Yeah, well, let's see you outrun a rabbit.
Yeah, well, your mother wears army boots.
There was also a little bat who did not know which side to take.
Hi, I'm Bruce the Bat. I'm kind of confused. Am I an animal or am I a bird? I look like a bird. I have wings, but I look like an animal, too. I have teeth.
Yes, Bruce the Bat was having an identity crisis. So not knowing what to do, he decided to wait it out and see which side was winning.
Yeah, I'll just wait until the battle wanes.
Well, take that, you 4-legged furry thing!
Oh, yeah, well, take that, you little feathered ball of fuzz.
Ha! Missed me!
Oh, boy, I think the birds are winning. Maybe it would be safe to go over to their side. Hey, Robin, need a friend?
Who are you? What are you trying to do, invade us?
No, I'm Bruce the Bat. I just want to be on the winning side. See, I'm a bird like you.
Prove it.
Well, look, I got wings, and I can fly.
Yeah, well, all right. Come on, let's get him.
Get him? Well, you mean I have to fight?
So, the birds accepted Bruce the Bat into their side, and Bruce was happy there for a while.
Yeah, go get him, Eagle. Go get him.
But eventually, things started to turn the other way around, and soon the animals had the upper hand.
Oh, he got me.
Uh-oh, I think I'd better defect, or else I'm going to be really defective. Hello, guys. You need someone on your side? I'm an animal, look.
Prove it.
Well, look, I have fur, and I have teeth, too, see? See my teeth?
Hey, wait a minute. I just saw him over there with the birds. How do we know you're not a spy?
Well, I am a spy. I was, for you. I was over there gathering information from the birds so I could come back and rat on them. Yeah, that's it.
This guy sounds like a real joker to me.
I'll have nothing to do with it. I vote that we don't accept him. He's a spy.
I second that.
No, I'm a mammal, I tell you.
Yeah, out of here.
Wait, why don't we take a vote on it? You know, a bat poll.
Seeing that his chances were shot with the winning side, Bruce the Bat decided to go and try and join the birds again.
Hey, guess what, guys? I guess I was mistaken. I really am a bird after all.
You again? Ha! Get out of here. We'll have nothing to do with you.
But I spied on the animals for you.
Traitor.
So Bruce the Bat decided the best thing to do was just get out of there while he could.
I guess I better go hide in a cave or something. They're all going to be mad at me.
So Bruce hid in the cave, because he wasn't sure whether he was actually an animal or a bird, and that's why bats only come out at night and keep to their homes during the day.
And that's the story of Why the Bat is an Outcast. But our bat's not an outcast. Bartholomew, he's out there flying around and happy.
Bats have a very bad reputation that they don't deserve. They don't attack people. Unless if they have rabies, then they might. Any animal with rabies might bite you, especially if you disturb it.
Yeah, I mean, a dog would be bad if it had rabies, but no, bats are very beneficial to the environment. They eat the mosquitoes, which I can't stand. Well, we would like to announce a kind of a contest that we're going to be running here. I don't know, we need a name for this contest for one thing. It's name the character after you. What should we name the contest?
Be a character.
The Be a Character contest. Okay, Be a Character contest. We are just starting this off. All you have to do is leave us a comment. And you can leave us a comment by email or voicemail. Our number is 206-202-3976, or on iTunes or Podcast Pickle. Leave us a comment and a way to get in touch with you. We will put your name in a drawing, and on episode 80, we will name a character in one of the folktales after you. We'll make you a hero.
Or a villain if you prefer.
I guess you could be a villain if you prefer.
It's all a matter of personal taste.
So all you have to do is call us at 202-3976 and leave us a voicemail comment about the show, about what you like, what you didn't like, about story suggestions, and or give us an email or leave us a comment on iTunes, on our activated.libsyn site.
Or if you have a can and a long enough string, you could talk to us that way.
If you can find us, I'll leave you my GPS coordinates. Just let me know where you want to throw the can to. Well, we are off to Albuquerque, New Mexico.
I guess that's it for this week. We'll see you later. And if you see Bartholomew running around, tell him hi for us.
The Activated Storytellers perform at schools and libraries nationwide. On stage, we use American Sign Language, physical comedy, imaginative props, and a giant, oversized book to bring the stories to life. For booking information, check our website at www.activated-storytellers.com, where you can also find out when the Activated Storytellers will be performing near you, read a story, or order one of our audio CDs. Until next time.
Bye-bye, Bartholomew, wherever you are.